Okay, this video goes along with part 2 of the week 2 activity for the Math 95-107 Clippers Math 107 class. So first we're going to look at how to set up word problems. So we're going to read through the entire problem. That would be first thing, read the problem several times. So we have a falcon, when diving, can travel 5 times faster than a pheasant's top speed. If the total combined speed for these two birds is 222 miles per hour, find the fastest speed for the falcon and the fastest speed for the pheasant. Okay, so we need to kind of get an idea of what's going on in the problem. So we know we have some birds. We know their total has to be 222 miles per hour. And we also know that the falcon can travel 5 times faster than the pheasant. Okay, falcon when diving, that's as fast as he's going to end up going. So what are we trying to find out is the other thing, right? So one thing we can kind of jot down some notes to. Falcon speed is 5 times pheasant. So sometimes I just like to write some little phrases there to help me out. And then I know the total has to be 222 miles per hour for their combined speeds together. And then what I'm actually trying to find is the fastest speed for the falcon and the fastest speed for the pheasant. So I'm going to label that with X. Anytime you put a variable out there, you need to declare what that is. So pick a variable, we're going to use X, and what will that represent in the equation? So I'm going to say what I know least about, which is a general rule of thumb. So I'm going to let X equal the pheasant speed. Now you don't necessarily have to do it that way. You could do it the other way, but you should get the same answer. Is there something else you need to know? What else are you looking for? And we could put that in terms of an expression. So we also need to find the falcon speed. Okay, so the falcon, or we could say falcon's speed, because we're talking about just one. So the falcon speed, we're going to say equals 5 times the pheasant, and the pheasant we're calling X. So we would say equals 5X. Okay, so just put it in terms of how the pheasant, we have the pheasant speed, so it's in relationship to the pheasant. Step 2 is translate into an equation. So now we know a couple of other things. We know that the total, I'm just going to jot down a little note here about the total speeds, total of both bird speeds equals 222. So that's the combined total. So another way to say that is pheasant speed, or pheasant speed, plus falcon's speed equals combined speed. Now, you don't always need to write all that out, but as you get more complicated with the problems, and there's more going on, that's really helpful. So now I'm going to use my symbols and numbers and just convert that. So pheasant speed we're calling X. We're adding because we have a combined speed. Falcon speed we're calling 5X because it's in relation to the pheasant speed, which is 5 times faster than the pheasant. Equals combined speed, which we have a little note here that the total of the both birds for their speed is 222. And it's all in miles per hour. You can jot that down off to the side so you know how to, what units to use. Then we're going to go ahead and solve. So you've done this already this week. So we're just going to combine like terms. 6x equals 222. So I'm showing out my steps. Divide both sides by 6. And then I would get x equals, you could use a calculator if you want, or you could just, and I'll just do it off to the side here, a little side note, if you just do long division real quick, if you don't have a calculator handy, you would just do 6 into 22, would go 3 times, leaving you with 3 times 6 is 18, then leaving you with 4, bring down the 2, 6 into 42 is 7. You could also use Desmos, that online calculator, if you wanted to do that, and just use that as a calculator for more complicated problems. So now step 4 is interpret the results, answer in a sentence, and interpret what it means. So we just got one answer here, so we're not completely done. We wouldn't be wrong if this is all we wrote, but we wouldn't be fully correct and get all the points based on a rubric. So we would say x, what is x? Let's look back up here. What did we label x? Is the pheasant speed. So we would want to write in there the pheasant's top speed, or top speed of the pheasant, is 37 miles per hour. And then how does that relate to my second part? The falcon speed is 5x. So we need to multiply that out, and we can do that off to the side over here too. 37 times 5. And do it out the long way. 5 times 7 is 35. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 3 is 8. There. So 185. And the falcon speed, or top speed, or diving speed, is 185 miles per hour. And that would be a complete answer in this case. You could box it in, but it's very clear to me, like when I would be grading, to do that. And you can use a calculator for things like the long division and the long multiplication. That's totally fine. But you can just jot them down on the side too. You do not need to show me these pieces here. You do need to show, like, this is what I mean by solving process. Okay. Now we're going to look at number 2 real quick, and then there's 2 more for you to do on the back that are similar, but to do as classwork and submit into Canvas. Okay, here we have a geometry problem. The perimeter of a triangle is 110 inches if 2 sides are equal, and the third side is 5 inches longer than the other 2. Then find the length of all 3 sides of the triangle. Okay, so this is, we'll just draw a little diagram of the triangle. We know all the sides add up to be 110. So this process is understanding the problem. And then there's a relationship amongst the sides though. So 2 of the sides are going to be equal. and then the third side is 5 inches longer. So I'm going to make, so this is an equilateral triangle. So I think I'm just going to draw this a little bigger and down here, so it looks a little more realistic. So say, I'm going to call the one I know least about, again, I'm going to call that X. So the sides that are equal, I'm going to call X. And then the third side we know is 5 inches more than X. So that's X plus 5. So when I write this out, what am I declaring? I'm trying to find the length of all 3 sides. So I have to label them all. So let X equal 1 side. How can we word that? The length of one of the equivalent sides. Okay, so really, as long as you can track it in the end and you figure out the numbers and what they mean, that's fine. Is there something else you're looking for? Yes, I'm looking for that third side, right? So we could call these the first and second sides, right here and here. But the third side is actually equal to X plus 5. Okay, so we're going to put that in an equation. So first we have the side plus side. We'll call this, first side, and we could call this second side. There we go. Plus third side equals perimeter that we were given. So now go ahead and pop those in. So we have X plus X for the second side, first side, plus third side is now this X plus 5. Now I can really just remove the parentheses there because I don't have a coefficient. There's not a number being multiplied by it, and I don't have a negative symbol that I need to distribute. But you do want to be cognizant of that. Pay attention if there was something you would need to distribute to keep those grouping symbols there until you actually do distribute. So now I'm going to add up my like terms. So X plus X plus X will be 3X plus 5. Oh, I forgot to put my perimeter there, equals 110. Add that in. So I have 3x plus 5 equals 110. And then I'm going to go ahead and subtract 5 from both sides. And then I get 3x equals 105. And then I can go ahead and divide both sides by 3. And I would get x equals 3 into 105. I'll just do it off to the side here so you can see what I'm doing in my head. But 3 into 10 would be 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract, bring down the 5. So I have 3 into 15 is now 5. So I get x equals 35, but I'm not done yet. That's just one side. So this is first side and second side. Which also equals second side. I'm not adding them together, but that's just what they each are. And then I also want to make sure I put my units here. It's inches. And so I have to also figure out what this third side is. So I would just plug in, we call this back subbing, 35 plus 5. Gives me 40 inches there for the third side. Or you can look at it right up here. Third side equals 35 plus 5 equals 40 inches. And then just write your answer in a sentence. I'll let you go ahead and do that. And I'll pause for a minute and you pause and go ahead and do that and see if we match up. So now I've just gone ahead and written out the sentence. The two equal sides of the triangle are 35 inches and the other side is 40 inches. You don't have to be fancy with it. You do want to make sure that if you do that, so I have two sides that are 35. That gives me 70. So when you do this sentence, make sure it works out to answer, fit with the question. So 35 plus 35 is 70, plus another 40 is 110. So it does work out. So make sure you do a check. And just to know that, is that in fact equal to 110? Yes, it is. And there we are. We're all done. Have a great day.